Today I want to talk about digital minimalism. This is something that's come up a lot for me. I try to advocate a lot for people's attention spans. I think we've gotten really addicted to having these really quick feedback cycles. These reward cycles are so short nowadays. I do think that social media plays a huge role in that, and we're all addicted to our phones. I've made a lot of changes in my life to not really be very attached to my phone. I actually don't even know where my phone is right now, and I want to talk about that a bit today. First, let's talk about what digital minimalism even is. What's up? I'm bashbunni, programmer, free and open source software lover, breaker of all things. I will break prod, okay? I promise you that. I got you. Job security for you. There's a whole book on it, okay? Cal Newport has some great books that I've read of his. I've listened to the audiobooks of them. It's great if you're going out for a walk or whatever. He's got one specifically on digital minimalism. To me, digital minimalism is just being very intentional with where you're giving your attention. We're more connected than ever with everyone else. And this is great because, yay, everyone's so close. I can ask questions to anyone that I know within half a second. The con is that I'm being interrupted constantly, and every single thing is profiting off of my attention. So everything is fighting for your attention, and it's really exhausting. I feel like we're actually chronically overstimulated in a lot of cases. I want to talk about some ways that we can maybe break some of the cycles with doom scrolling. Doom scrolling on TikTok, Reddit, news cycle is also not helping any of this situation. It's insane. The most valuable currency in the world is your attention and your data. All right, that's a separate matter. When I was researching for this video, there were a few strategies that some people implemented in their lives. They would use software blockers. So I think there's settings on your phone and your computer and things like that, maybe even third-party apps, where you can have it restrict your access to certain apps for certain times of the day, or even for a certain duration. For example, if you're really addicted to Instagram Reels, you might want to limit that to like an hour a day or something like that. And it'll actually just lock you out of that app if you try and use it more than that. That is one way that you can force yourself to not access those things more than you think is reasonable. Another thing is just to have mindful usage. I try to figure out where am I spending my time. Sometimes I'll get kind of caught up. On Twitter, there's so much happening, and a lot of my friends are there, so like I kind of justify that. But I can find myself, as soon as I get a moment of boredom, just opening it up, start scrolling. I'm like, wait, how did I get here? How did I even get here? So trying to like catch yourself in those moments as well and say, okay, wait, what's something else I can be doing instead? Do I even need to be on my phone right now? Can I just sit and admire what's around me? Another thing that I've seen in practice that I really liked is having a more minimal UI. So this can be simplifying what apps are being shown on certain screens on your phone, and hopefully staying on your productive page where your email and calendar and other things are that you actually need to do, and staying away from the social media page. Personally, I actually really love old school technology, or having the terminal as my primary interface that I work with. I work as a software developer, and I do a lot with like terminal interfaces. So generally speaking, I'll actually pop open my terminal, and that's how I will interact with a lot of different tools and projects or things that I need to do. A lot of my tasks that I do on a regular basis, I actually have different command line projects that I use for that instead. So I don't even need to go to a website to do any of those things. It's just like a one-liner, or I have like an alias to do that really quickly. I think it was Jay Schultz. He's a big advocate as well for kind of like old technology and stuff like that. I admire that. I wish I was cooler and had more old technology. I'm somehow a soy dev, and I have all of the Apple products. I'll link his channel in the description for those who are looking for other people that are also into preserving whatever dopamine insanity you have left. All right, let's talk about some replacement activities. If you're looking for a little hit of your favorite brain chemical, dopamine, you can just call someone. If you were gonna text them, just call them. Just call them, catch up a little bit, see how you're doing. You'll probably feel really uplifted if it's someone that you're close to and you enjoy their company. I actually get to know more about what's happening in their life than if we're just going back and forth over text. I feel like genuinely closer to them than trying to have a conversation over text. So just call someone, just call a friend. Another thing that you can do is put on some music. I find certain artists really lift me up. I feel so invigorated after listening to like Kendrick Lamar, Blackpink, all that kind of vibe. That is definitely my upbeat end of things. I like country music as well. That's more chill. But if I'm looking to get like amped up, I got a hard coding problem that I'm gonna absolutely demolish that day, it's Kendrick Lamar, it's Blackpink, we out there. And yes, we are crushing it. Another thing to consider too, maybe you're doom scrolling because you're feeling a bit down or depressed. My therapist has told me before that depression comes from suppressing your emotions. If I'm feeling like I am constantly trying to be stimulated, I'm always having to listen to something, always having to watch something to like do anything, I'll often do some journaling. And I find this is a really great way as an introvert to really think about what I'm feeling. It's always interesting to me how I'll start by like writing about my day and things I'm excited about and yada yada. And it like devolves into actually finding maybe this is actually a problem for me, like I'm actually able to unravel a lot of my deeper thoughts by writing. So maybe something worth trying if you are constantly overstimulated. It's also just a really nice relaxing activity. Like put on some nice calming music or just enjoy the sounds of nature around you. It's nice. Oh, another thing that I will do if I'm feeling really overstimulated during the day, I'll go just to like sensory deprivation nap. Go lie down in a dark room and you're KO'd for a little bit. You don't necessarily even need to nap, but just like no electronics, nothing, just sit there. It can be so calming. I always feel actually very refreshed after, like it's a new day. Another thing that you can try as well is meditation. I know that this is not as much of a hype thing as it was a few years ago. Doing some kind of like mini meditation, a guided meditation, it can be a really great way to just kind of slow down your breath, slow down your body, slow down your brain, get everything kind of regulated again. A little reset button. If you are bored, let me suggest some activities that you can do. Now, I'm an introvert, so I will be suggesting introvert-friendly activities. If you are an extrovert, you can just do this with someone else. Instead of scrolling, I often actually like to scroll through the GitHub Explore page. If I'm on my phone and I'm looking to just like scroll through, maybe get inspired by some things. And I do follow quite a few people on GitHub, and I really like the people that I follow. They're all people that I follow because I like what they work on. It's not necessarily that I know them personally or anything like that, but just like they always are building really cool projects. And I love seeing what they're working on. And then I get really excited too when I'm like going back to my desk and I want to like hack on some things or like learn some stuff. Sometimes I'll look at the release and I'll look at the release notes and then I'll be like, oh, that's a cool feature. I wonder how they did that. And then I'll go into the pull request, then I'll read through the code, and I think I might be a huge nerd. Yeah. Another option that I like to do when I'm bored is a puzzle game. So something like Sudoku or crossword. I'm really bad at crosswords, but I really like Sudoku. Or like the different puzzle games. Like there's like the 2048 game. There's like the fruit game. Do you know what I mean? Do you know the fruit game? Another fun thing to scroll are RSS feeds. All right. This is a bit more of a curated feed instead of just whatever Reddit decides to throw your way. You're scrolling without the doom. I've got a couple of apps, something called Feed and NetNewsWire. Those are different apps that you can use. I will link in the description, don't worry. Another thing that I'll do if I'm looking to just entertain myself is just have an ebook. That can be an audiobook or a digital book. Usually actually like all of my textbooks and everything like that, I prefer to have a digital version so I can search through it if I'm using it as a reference. And I also find I don't have the guts to annotate a physical book, so it's the only way. It's the only way for me that I can ever manage to do that. Another thing that I've gotten more into recently is daydreaming, just sitting there and pondering life. I like to observe different things. I like to figure out what makes us different people's perspectives, different cultures, and what can I learn from all of these things? Thinking of ways that I can bring that into my own life. But it's really fun to me just thinking about things, staring into the void. I don't know if podcasts or audiobooks are that much better, but I do like to consume long form content. If I am just looking for something to just turn my brain off, I think long form content is fine. I don't find that it really affects my attention span, except for the videos. Oh my gosh, there's some videos where they've got the person talking and then they've got like someone carving soap or something in the background, or they've got like all of these sounds coming up every 0.2 seconds. It's insane. I'm like, okay, this is targeting the Zoomers and Gen Alpha. This is not me. But yeah, I generally find that long form content is pretty good and will not affect your dopamine levels so much. Let me know what you do to relax and what you think about digital minimalism, your own little tips for digital minimalism. I'll see you guys next time, and I will see you in the comments. Bye bye.